We just got back from Brightburn. Welcome to our review. Oh, no, we didn't get back from Brightburn.
I was like, what?
I was listening.
At ASTRA.
I was listening to a review on that way over. Okay.
Are you talking about like the horror film? Brightburn?
Yeah, the horror movie Brightburn. I was listening to a review of that.
That was good. That was a fun film.
I'm Concussion or Mac from Concussion Media. This is my very good friend Forrest, also now from Concussion Media. So, what is going on, my friends? We just got back from ASTRA, the Brad Pitt movie that I had no idea what it was going to be about when I went and saw it.
Yeah, it was very surprising. I think I only saw like a few just short trailers about it.
Well, the trailers didn't do anything to say what the movie was going to be about at all.
They just said like, "Hey, here's Brad Pitt going to space."
Yeah, it's like, here's Brad Pitt. He's going to space. Tommy Lee Jones is his dad, and he's talking in like one of the sound rooms, one of those sound rooms with like the coned.
Oh yeah, they call those dead rooms.
Yeah, the dead rooms. He was talking in a dead room, sending a message to his dad. That's literally all we got from the trailers, and it didn't tell you anything else. And there was intercut like scenes like them on the moon and things like that, but. Well, first off, did you like it?
I did think it was a very beautiful shot film.
It was extremely beautiful. It was, oh my gosh, I'm a film major, and I was creaming my pants a little bit.
I mean, I love the cinematography.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
I mean, I haven't seen anything that beautiful since probably Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of Blade Runner 2099 vibes from that movie.
I mean, different style, but
yeah,
but like have that quality of good cinematography. Though.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The use of like shadow and lighting, and yeah, it was really beautifully shot. And the first half of this movie was amazing. Mm-hmm. I loved the first half of this film. By the way, this is a non-spoiler section of the review, so we're not going to get into any spoilers just yet, unfortunately. We will get there. That's just the second half of this long talk review.
Okay.
So no spoilers.
All right.
That's
good to know.
No spoilers.
I haven't slipped anything else.
Yeah. And so right now, our setup is a little different. So there's the studio that we've been using is down right now. So right now we have we're filming this on our phone. The only thing that works is the mics. So we're using a stationary camera. So that's why if I pop in and out of frame, we're using a wide-angle lens, and this is the only way we're able to get both of us on camera right now. So yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's why it's a little different. Oh, I should have brought my. I'm going to edit this little part out, but I should have brought my regular camera, huh? Damn it. I didn't think of that. Okay, well.
Live and learn.
Back to the movie. Yeah, back to the movie. What were we talking about? I thought the shadows were fantastic. And, honestly, it was really surprising. The Brad Pitt's character was very interesting.
Yeah. It was especially interesting, especially since I feel like half of his dialogue was voiceover narration.
Yeah, this is like a noir, near future sci-fi film,
mm-hmm.
and I thought that was a very interesting combination actually, and that was very well done.
Yeah, it wasn't the narration that told you his backstory or what he was thinking was going to happen next. It was more like what he was thinking in the moment, more like.
Yeah, it was completely. There was no exposition at all, which I loved, and it was literally it was just his thoughts. It was him thinking about everything that was happening to him. It was just his pure thoughts, and it was very cool. And the way they even used flashbacks, they weren't really flashbacks. They were just him thinking. There was literally flashes of images for a second, and him of his thoughts in his past, and in the just on screen for a split second, as he thinks of them. So it's not like there's any scenes explaining anything. It's all very contextual. It's very cool.
Yeah, and the flashbacks, didn't really have much dialogue. It was just kind of as if you were just watching something.
Yeah.
And I think that's like how a lot of memories are. I mean, it's more like just imagery and not so much audio.
Yeah.
I mean, depending, but in this case, it was more visual memories.
But did you like it?
I did. I did like the voiceover narration. I think that was a really cool touch on it, and I would say it was a very interesting story.
It was a very interesting.
I feel
story.
like this is a movie you have to have patience with.
Yes.
It's definitely not something that's like, oh wow, we're just going to get thrown into some crazy action. It's there are some lulls in there, but they're not bad.
Yeah, it's a slower paced film, definitely 100%. But it's very it makes a huge commitment to like realism. Like this is what could happen in the near future in terms of like its setting and its story, and it gives you very little information about the world, which I liked that, because when people were talking, it was a very lived in world, and they were talking about like, yeah, like this is happening like this, and like it's very natural like sounding, like you learn stuff because there's like, yeah, it's like this happened, like they don't do any expositionary, like there's no character saying, oh, blah blah blah, here's the history of our world, blah blah blah. It's all very through as contextual details as possible, and it's very cool.
Yeah, and I think it's very like straightforward. Like you're like, okay, I can tell this is taking place in the near future, but I don't need an explanation of how everything works or what's happened or what year it is. You just feel comfortable. Like, okay, I can see this being in the new future, and that's it's just kind of more focused on the story, but relatable enough. You're like, okay, it's not too crazy like Star Trek future or anything. Yeah. It's like, okay, I can go along with this and not feel lost.
Yeah. 1 second.
Sure.
All right, just had to triple check that we were recording. I don't want to lose the audio version of this. Okay, what were you saying? Oh yeah, the near future. So, I gotta catch my breath. All right, so I'm just blanking out. I thought this was a great movie. Like, I think this is a very solid. Like, I think this is extremely. I was like very impressed by this film, and there is action. There is action in this movie. It's just very it's very realistic for the world they create. Like, it's very sudden. There's no drawn out action sequences. Everything happens very quickly, like how it would in like real life. Like, everything is like very fast, and like it stops as soon as it starts almost, which is very interesting. And I don't know, this is the most interesting film I've seen like all year, like bar none. And the special effects were fantastic. It's a very beautiful film, completely all around.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was, and I like how each location had its own unique feel.
Yeah, it had its own feel and lighting style too.
Yeah,
like, the use of color was crazy.
Yes, and I feel like they did learn like a lot of elements from films like Gravity.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the whole time during space sequences.
I was like, okay, they definitely used what they learned from Gravity, which is good because if you haven't seen Gravity, it's a great realistic depiction of what space sounds like, which is pretty much nothing. But so I think that they did a really incredible job with the audio.
Yeah, the sound was fantastic. I was thinking about that the whole time I was watching this movie. I was like, wow, the sound is fantastic. The soundtrack was great. Mm-hmm. I loved the soundtrack, and yeah, there's a lot of things that this movie does right.
Yeah, like especially like in space, like the things that you hear are I guess proximity based.
Yeah.
You know, like Brad Pitt's only going to hear something if he's like right up against it. Or
yeah, like there's explosions in this movie that happen in space, and you don't hear them. He just sees them.
Yeah.
They did a very good job of the sound in space. I was waiting to see if they would screw that up, honestly.
So definitely, whoever their sound engineer was, fantastic job.
Yeah. The thing I didn't I wanted to say, for the people who didn't like Gravity because it was terrifying, this movie is not like that at all. It's not like you don't feel claustrophobic at all. I mean, there's tense moments in space that do happen, but it's not like I like the scene. Even seeing the trailers for Gravity was terrifying for me personally. And this movie is not. It's not really scary, but there is a lot of tense moments in this film.
Yeah, I feel like Gravity was just more full of tense breathing.
Yeah,
but
breathing.
But physics wise and sound wise, they're a little bit similar.
Yeah,
in lots of ways, which is a good thing. I guess I don't know if they just take a whole bunch of footage from the International Space Station and be like, see, that's what space is like.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, but definitely, I think in recent years, realistic sci-fi films have come a long way.
Yeah. So, what do you think of this? It seems like there's a lot of movies coming up in this genre lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like the near future sci-fi films. Like,
Mm-hmm.
have you heard of like Upgrade? And have you heard of Upgrade? The movie that came out last year or
No.
2 years ago? Well, it's like there's a lot of like near future sci-fi films where it's like near future, where it's like they build basically on technology we already have versus imagining what it could be. And I really am digging this genre of movies films that are coming out. And I thought like this being my, and they combine this genre that I love with noir, which is very cool. It's this very cool combination. I really dug it. So this movie's Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was going to say like it is a really cool combination, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of like recent technology is kind of spurring on this sci-fi genre with like autonomous cars becoming more common and just like everyday advancements we're seeing, and I think it's kind of like turned attention to sci-fi and new ideas.
Yeah. So this movie is surprisingly like it's really deep. It's a really deep film. There's a lot of like philosophies in here, and there's like they make a point to like there's a lot of religion in this film, like especially in the first half, and they like make a point that you don't see that much in like other movies. Like a lot of the characters pray, which I thought was an interesting choice, like film wise, and like. Did you notice that?
I did notice that there were some prayers or some characters saying prayers, and
maybe I'm just overthinking, but I thought that was an interesting choice, like world building wise. But we forgot we forgot to tell them the basic setup of the movie.
All right, well, basic
non spoilery.
All right. I'm gonna try this non-spoiler as possible.
Yeah, if you can't, I got it.
Okay, so basically the people of Earth are experiencing these giant electrical surges.
Yeah, it's called the surge.
The surge, and it wreaks havoc on Earth, and they want to prevent further surges from occurring. And Brad Pitt, he's asked to help because where the surges are coming from is where his father was last seen. Yeah. And they want to know if he is responsible or if he's not.
Yeah, if he's there.
Basically to help come to terms of how they can stop these surges from
wiping out like everyone on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of like basically the setup and
that's like the premise of the movie.
Yeah. And
that like that in the trailers when he's talking in that sound room that they're sending messages to the dad, try to like reach him and be like, hey. Yeah.
So obviously this piques Brad Pitt's character's curiosity, like, hey, my dad could be alive and I could contact him. And
because they were on a deep space mission. We didn't spoil anything, right?
No.
Okay, cool. That's the basic premise of the movie.
Very basic.
And I think you could kind of piece that together from the trailers. So I don't think we crossed any lines. But it's interesting because they turn this movie from like it's like a character study almost about like it's like has like commentary on like soldiers and what they go through and like their emotional states, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely I mean, throughout the movie, you see like the Brad Pitt's character's mentality, how it changes.
Yeah,
from
it's a
start
huge
to-
focus on his mental state.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting and an interesting choice for movies like focus so much on how someone's like psychological and mental state is.
You know what I just noticed? Noticed about this film.
Hmm.
There are no other characters on screen for more than 20 minutes besides Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and the only other big name on there is Tommy Lee Jones.
And he's not in.
And there's where you don't really see him. He doesn't have much screen time.
He doesn't have much screen time. I mean, he doesn't. He appears through like audio, like video logs, but yeah, he pops up towards the end of the film. But is that a spoiler? I don't know. But like, the very interesting character, like character wise, they don't really have a lot of side characters. Like they'll be in the movie, and then he'll like on his journey, like to find his dad, he'll just like he'll interact with him while he's like next to them, like location wise.
Yeah, I think this is a very
character driven movie.
Yeah, very very individualistic. You're only seeing. I think you're really only seeing it just through Brad Pitt's character's eyes and ears.
Yeah.
And inside his head as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because, like I said, there's no other side characters, but it's just him and everything, just what he experiences.
Yeah. So I think I said everything I need to say. Do you have anything you want to add before we give our rating?
Just that it was I think it was a very beautifully shot film.
It was extremely beautiful. This film, like cinematography wise, sound wise was beautiful. Oh, I did want to talk about the slowness of it. I did want to talk about that before we do the ratings.
Sure.
So this was a 2-hour movie, and it felt like it was 3. It was a very the film was only 2 hours, but it felt so long.
Right.
And I don't know, it wasn't boring by any means. There was a lot of very interesting things happening on screen, and like I was engaged the whole time, but it just felt like it was a very slow burn the whole time. And you have to, well, I mean, like it kind of amazes you, like while you're watching it. It's very beautiful the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's one of the, even though it's slow, you're still just fascinated by a lot of the imagery.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I was always interested to see what was going to come around the corner next.
Yeah, that's true. Like, and there's a lot of different locations.
And so I think that's what it had. I think that's what saved it from being like a very boring film.
Yeah, because this film could have gotten really boring really fast.
Because if it wasn't shot right, it would have been like really boring. And you would just be like, oh, when is this movie going to be over?
Yeah, it transitions through. It does really good like transitionary stuff. Like it's not very stagnant in terms of like its storytelling style. If you know what I'm saying. Like it goes from like. It leans into the sci-fi more, and then it leans into the other stuff, and then it does this other types of sequences that are different, and it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. Yeah.
Sci-fi realism.
It was sci-fi realism. It really was. It was really cool. I really enjoyed this movie.
It was kind of like, okay, I could see stuff like this exist in the next 50 years or something.
Yeah. It was so pretty. Like, I haven't seen a movie this pretty in a minute. It was so pretty. And all the effects a lot of them looked really practical, except for like the planets. But this is a space movie, so there is planets. Spoiler.
We have planets in the solar system.
There's planets in the solar system. Sorry.
Besides ours, darn. Didn't know that.
Yeah, the planets were gorgeous to look at, though. And that's all. I think that's all I have to say before for the ratings now.
Okay, so ratings. What would you rate this out of 10?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give this an 8.
An 8?
Yeah, I think this is a great movie.
That's good. I mean,
this might even. I don't know if this. I don't know. I don't want to say this. I don't know if this is a 9 or not, but I'm teetering in between the two right now.
I'm kind of like in between like a 7 and an 8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I'll give it can I give 7.5? We do halves?
Can we do halves?
Or just going to do wholes?
I don't know. What do you want to do? We could round up. You want to round up or round down?
No, I'll give it a solid 7.
A solid 7? I'm going to give this an 8. So, 8 out of 10. So, thank you for joining us on this review. We're going to go on the spoiler section now, so if you want to jump out the window now, leave this video. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, all that jazz. Me and Forrest say bye, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace out. Okay, so that movie...
Spoilers,
yeah.
Okay, well, first up, I think there was quite a few different themes in the movie.
There's a lot of different themes.
There's a lot of different themes.
Yeah.
I guess what theme, or I guess which theme did you notice first?
His emotion. He had no emotions in this movie, and he did, but in the beginning of the movie, he was like a wall of just everything, and they kind of say this contextually. They're like, hey, your heart rate's never gone above 80 beats per minute, and it's like, geez, this dude is like a stone cold. Okay, and I was thinking this is what the military does to militaristic things do to people. They strips them of all their emotions, and I was like, damn, that's really horrible, because that's something he struggles with the whole movie, is kind of finding out how to feel again.
Yeah, or when can he have emotions show? I feel like he's withheld so much.
He blocks everything off.
I think that's why we see the memory of Eve, his wife, just leaving.
Yeah, that was his wife's name, Eve.
Eve, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think that was because he was there, but he wasn't really emotionally there.
Yeah, he was. He was playing the part.
Yeah, and I guess for her that's just an automatic disconnect.
I think that for everyone that would be an automatic disconnect. Yeah, for sure.
And so he's you can see he kind of struggles with it, but he just can put that wall back on.
Yeah, and he has to do these these psychological exams. He has this thing on his neck that he puts on. He has to do these psychological exams every day.
Yeah. Or
a couple of times a day. It seemed like once a day. It seemed like he had to do one, and he basically he sounded like a robot every single time he was doing one, except for the few times he failed.
Yeah, it was I'm doing well. I am happy. I'm focused on the mission.
I slept good.
No bad dreams. No bad dreams. Fit to continue. And it's just dang.
And then I said, accepted. I'm like, yeah, no shit, it accepted. He's a robot. And,
actually, if someone was giving me answers like a robot, I'd be denied.
Yeah, I would have been denied. You have no emotions and you aren't fit. Yeah, and so, that sequence in the beginning, that was awesome. That was an awesome introduction to the movie.
Oh, the space radio?
The space station.
That was a radio tower.
Was it a radio tower?
Yeah, it was international radio tower. Space tower.
So they built this tower from the ground to the upper atmosphere.
Yeah.
And when he fell, I thought he was dead. I was like, oh, okay, he's dead. And then he started falling, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're still in Earth's gravity, where he'll still fall. And then when he the way they shot that sequence was brilliant. And I don't know, man, the way they shot this movie was so good. I was so impressed by this movie in terms of the way they shot it.
Yeah, and you see when he was falling, he was calm and collective.
Yeah, he was ready on HQ. He's like, I might black out. So yeah. He didn't even care. He was just like, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that part was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It was like you said, it was shot really well. The explosions and the debris. Mm-hmm. You felt like that you were actually witnessing a fall and not just a loop of someone falling.
Yeah, and then there's all this the themes of capitalism and us eating worlds.
Oh yeah, that's something that when they go on to their moon trip.
Yeah, the moon trip. It's like all convenience stores, and there's like.
Well, I think I read for something. He was still in the spaceship traveling to the moon, and he's like, I like to have some kind of pillow. And they'll be like, they're like, that'll only be $125.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so there are commercial flights to the moon, but in the future they're bloody expensive.
Yeah, they charge you for every single thing. They charge you to breathe the air, literally. It's cool. Like they bring him in. He's like this super soldier. He's exceptional in every single aspect of his job. Like they read it off to him, and he's like, okay, I'm stoned. He's very stone faced for the first half of this movie, and like he's going to Mars. He has this partner who was a friend of his dad's, and was he friends with his dad?
Yeah.
He gets assigned this partner who's a friend of his dad's, and they go to the moon, and he's like, I don't know, I think he has like a heart attack or something, like an irregular heartbeat. And he has to like do emergency surgery.
Yeah.
But that puts Brad Pitt on his own, and then he's with this crew for when they're on the way to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that's like another, like they introduce these characters, and then they're gone like 20 minutes, and then there's like this, the space fight on the moon, that was awesome.
Yeah. So they get to the moon, and before they get to the moon, you kind of hear like, hey, there's territorial fights among pirates, and basically just this battleground for resources. Yeah. And you're like, okay, that's a very common human theme.
Yeah, this is like a really war-torn world.
Yeah.
Like, and like when he's leaving, thare like, hey, are you traveling? Like when he's traveling, like the attendant's like, hey, are you traveling outside the secure zone? He's like, no. So that means there's this zone which is lawless. Mm-hmm. And like the way they do the world building in this movie is fantastic, because it's all, like, I'm gonna say it's again contextual, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, one of the first things I noticed is that when they land on the moon, is like, hey, look, there's an Applebee's.
There was an Applebee's on the moon?
There was an Applebee's on the moon.
What the hell?
And there was
I didn't see that.
And there was Subway.
There was a Subway on the moon? That's all. I didn't even notice that.
There was an Applebee's and a Subway on the moon.
Capitalism, yeah.
And then I think there also might have been a McDonald's. But I mean, which is.
Oh, he closed the door. That's what happened. Okay. Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I'm like, okay. So when people start selling the moon, they want to make it like home. So they bring over like some of these. You kind of see like when you see people there like getting pictures taken with fake aliens, and there's the escalators, and so it just kind of feels like a mall, like the mall at the moon, and they have Subway and they got Applebee's, and you're like, okay. Anyways, I think it was interesting that just talk about like how much humans don't change that much, even though when they go to new places, they habitate into like what they know from home. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of like a cool, interesting humanitarian, humanity theme they threw in there.
It's surprisingly, a lot of the themes of like human nature. Human nature was a huge theme in this movie. Huge focus. I mean, because like it focuses on his and every other character in the movie. Like it goes into like their value system, like pretty like deeply, but not deeply at the same time. Like through how they talk and how they express themselves, it goes into their value system. Like the company he works for is Spacecom, and like they're like this greedy corporation that wants everyone to be basically a robot. They don't like emotions, and they make you do a psychological examination once. It doesn't say exactly in the movie, but it feels like once every like 24 hours. It made you feel like
there's like a required daily routine that you have to go through. Yeah, and what was an interesting? So he finally starts to leave the moon, right?
Yeah, with this new crew.
With this new crew.
I like the crew. I like the new crew. It was cool. these characters that they introduce it to.
Yeah, I mean, and I like because the crew is kind of how you kind of see like crew act like on the International Space Station.
Yeah.
With free spirits and just having fun. Like they had like some kind of little tic tac gun to like catch candy and whatnot.
I think that was drugs they sent out. I don't think it was candy.
Oh.
That's why like in the movie they were like playing with the.
Remind me not to take candy from strangers.
The floating water, yeah. He didn't take it. That's why he didn't need his.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did. Okay. Well, gosh, I missed the drug reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like hit me Candyman. Candyman is what they call the people on flights and stuff who administer like drugs and stuff.
Wow, I learned something new.
Yeah, so, I think that was a reference to that. But I like the crew. They do like this this Mayday call, and someone gets their face mauled off by a baboon.
Yeah, so they get a distress signal from a ship.
It's Norwegian, right? It was Norwegian.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It was like Norwegian,
yeah.
Norwegian or Swedish or something like that.
No, it was Norwegian.
Yeah, it was Norwegian.
And I'm like, I didn't know Norway had a space program. Well, I guess they do.
Yeah.
Because this was what did I say? It was like a test facility.
Yeah.
For animals and stuff, and so.
Well, I think they ate the crew. I think the monkeys ate the crew.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Because they sent out a Mayday. They sent out Mayday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so they were they were out in deep space between Mars and the Moon, and there was a Mayday symbol. And then they get to the ship and there's nobody there. And then his partner goes dark, and he comes back, and his partner's just getting his face eaten off by this monkey.
Stinking baboon.
And it's like, gosh, and the monkey jumps at him, and it's scary.
Yeah, seeing a monkey come at you in zero gravity is...
That was... I didn't think that would ever happen. Like, that, I didn't know that was a thing. That was a lot.
Why would you bring a violent animal or an animal that could be super violent into
dangerous,
space?
Extremely dangerous animal, too. They're so strong.
Yeah, and so he's trying to save the captain who went with him onto the ship. So he's trying to save this guy, and the guy doesn't make it. But yeah, it was a very interesting series. I think that's probably the most action we really get. Yeah,
there's all the action is in the first half of the movie,
mm-hmm.
and then it becomes it gets like a very psychological movie. It gets very focused on his mental state and what he's going through. Because for the first half of the movie, he's completely stone-faced, and it's just like stuff is happening, and he's reacting, and like he's giving his thoughts. Like he's like, I'm so disconnected from everything. It's like I wish he makes like these comments like, oh, they're at ease with themselves. Like that must be nice. Like he's so disconnected, and then he starts like feeling stuff, and then Spacecom doesn't want him anymore, and they like take him off the mission. And it's like, and
well, I think he really starts. Yeah, so he gets to Mars because that's where they want him to be to send a laser recorded signal from Mars to where his father's ship is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And they gave him a script, and I don't think we really know how many times he reads the script.
Yeah, there's like it shows like him like a sequence of like him like going. Like supposedly he said it like a couple, like probably 20 or 25 times.
And eventually he decides to like go off script and uses memories of his father to relate to get a response from his father. And they supposedly they get a response, but they're like, okay, well you're done. And I think that's just what kind of shatters or starts to shatter that wall like he put up.
Yeah. And then it kind of goes like into his dad's psyche, and like kind of it's like weird how he turned out exactly like his dad, and like how he completely doesn't care about anything, or like he's so walled up. But it talks about like his dad, and his dad like really like he wasn't a good person. Like he didn't care about anyone, and he thought he was meant for greater things, and he like killed the other members of his crew because they were like they saw he was crazy.
Yeah, I think also because like, well, from what I get is that I think that a lot of the crew wanted to go home.
Yeah, because they got what they came for.
They got what they came for, and he was like convinced that like, no, I'm not leaving until I find life.
Yeah, I'm gonna find aliens. He wanted to find the aliens. They went out to Neptune, and that's what was causing like the crew tried to escape. That's what was like. It was some kind of pulse came out of the ship, and that's what was causing the surge to happen.
And how do we solve complicated problems?
Nuke it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they nuked the ship. I was like, okay, why do you need to nuke the ship?
Why is a nuke the answer for everything?
Yeah, I was like, why are you nuking the ship? But I mean, it makes sense because that's how we got home. But like, was that the plan the whole time, or was that just like, all right, well, I'm gonna do it that way? I mean, he knew he couldn't go back to Mars; they would kill him. The space comm like was so strong there, but like. Yeah, that he straight up nuked the ship, and then his dad killed himself because he didn't want to. I guess he felt like he failed, or I guess
like he was complacent with where he was as his home.
Yeah,
I think he didn't want to leave where he was like, where his whole what was it like 29 years or something, like where he had spent his life's work.
Yeah. It talks a lot about like purpose in this movie too, like having like a sense of purpose and like basically what your actions cause to your children too. There was a lot of stuff happening in this movie. It's very complex. Like this isn't a movie you can like. This is a movie you have to be like awake for and like watching like you have to actually watch this movie. You can't just like go through the motions with this one. But it was really good. I really liked this movie a lot.
Yeah, it was really well done. I mean, yeah, the story, they're about like father and son kind of story there. I think I guess what I got was Brad Pitt's character. Roy. Hey, I remember the name.
Yeah, Roy McBride.
Roy McBride. I think he finds freedom that he doesn't have to be his father.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, that's
he's not destined to be exactly like his father, even though he trained his whole life to be an astronaut, to be just like his dad.
Yeah, he trained his whole life to be his dad.
Basically, and
he's compared to his dad throughout the entire movie.
And what was one of the lines he said in the movie was his dad found all of this great research.
Yeah, and he couldn't even see it.
Yeah, he couldn't even see all this amazing.
Well, he could see it, but he couldn't see. Like he was fine.
Yeah, like he basically kind of like the same concept. Like, hey, you're staring so close at the tree, you don't notice the forest around you.
Yeah,
kind of idea.
Exactly.
And I think he came to realize like what was the main purpose of him going there in the first place, and that was that he had a purpose to for the people back on Earth.
Yeah.
And I think, I guess one of the people he used to have a connection with, his wife Eve, and I kind of think that kind of helped save him in a way.
What did you think of the ending?
The ending where he.
It's honestly a really happy ending.
Yeah, it was. I'd say it was a good ending. You kind of see like, hey, it looks like he's getting back together with his wife.
Yeah, and like happy. It went happy ever after.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to go really dark, because it has such a focus on realism. I thought he was going to like get killed by space comm.
I was expecting
or like he was going to crash land or something.
I feel like he would have like died on the ship after X amount of days, and was like the ship was going to get discovered by space comm, and they'd retrieve his body and whatnot. But no, he lives, and
happy ever after.
Looks like life goes well. Were there things in the film you did not like, or what could have been better?
Honestly, I'm usually really good at picking up stuff I think I could have done better, but I didn't really have any of those this time. I thought that it was done as, I think the story was told as good as it could have been told, like with what they're going for. I thought, honestly, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything. It's just like the narrative itself. Like if I were to change anything in this movie, it would take away from the narrative, in my opinion, or like, because like it comes in and like the story, and nothing feels wrong with the story. You know what I mean? Like nothing like, but I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like maybe like him surviving, like the dad surviving on the ship for like 16 years, but then again, it was like a deep space voyage, so they probably had a lot of food, especially when they're all dead except for the dad. But I really didn't find any plot holes or anything. So like, honestly, I don't think I would have changed anything. What about you? Is there anything you specifically didn't like?
It was very different for me, where it's just focused solely on one character.
Yeah, this was the first character driven movie that I think I've actually liked.
Yeah, I would have liked. I mean, I do give it credit. Like, hey, that was actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think through that, I now know that I prefer movies that focus on at least two characters.
Yeah,
I think for one, it's too not. It's a bit tiring to be focused so much on one character.
Yeah,
I feel like I need a relief. Like, hey, I need another character.
But that's like.
But I understand the purpose of this movie. I feel it's a very one person story for the most part, and it's just all through one person's perspective. I think the only change I would have probably made was
having more have more characters towards like the tail end of the movie.
I think the ending was done fine. I just I don't know, maybe it could have been shorter. Some of the montages could have been shorter. And
there's only like one montage scene though, or actually no, there was a couple.
There was a couple.
There was a couple, yeah.
And then they weren't that bad.
No, they weren't.
I think I know I'm going to get nitpicky, but I think there's one thing that kind of. I mean, as much as how exciting the bamboo fight scene was,
yeah,
kind of there. I don't know. I was like, I guess I kind of feel like it was there. I didn't really think it really added too much to the overall movie. No,
it didn't. It didn't add. Like if you took that movie out, if you took that scene out, it would still be the same movie. Actually, no. I like it there because it goes into it goes into his character more, and like because like that chain reaction leads to his like showing like the other captain being like really afraid and not being able to do anything because the original captain dies, and then him having to take over, and then like that tying back to the story when he's that same guy who can't make a move is leading the mission now. It's like honestly I wouldn't take that out. But and what you were saying, my response to you is isolationism is like a huge thing for like space movies, like and people going crazy out in space. So I think that's why, especially in the latter half of the movie, he is by himself like the whole time almost, except for when he runs into his dad. But yeah, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No. It was I'm glad it was a very original film.
It was extremely original. I've never seen a movie like that before.
Beautiful cinematography, great sound design, great music.
It's just a slow burner. Honestly, it's it's like a character study movie. Honestly.
Yeah, if you want like a good movie, but like more like laid back and easy going, this is definitely something you can just like chill to.
Yeah, it's very chill. You can easily just be like, whoa, space. But like if you pay attention, there's a lot of shit going on in this movie. Did you like this better than It Chapter 2?
A lot better. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did not. It Chapter 2 really disappointed me. But yeah, that's off topic. But yeah, I think that's the end of this video. Is there anything else?
No. Well, yeah, I want to see more original sci-fi
content like this.
Yeah, more original sci-fi movies. Like, I mean, I haven't seen a sci-fi movie kind of like this deep since probably like Interstellar. Which, which in itself is completely different, but still like it's a sci-fi with a great story. I feel like sci-fi is just this really unique genre where you can get really deep into like human nature.
Yeah, you really can.
Human, and what kind of like pushing the limits of ourselves and ourselves as beings, and so. And it's just so many themes you can play with, and like just I'm more not to play with, but like go more in depth with.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like when in sci-fi movies in general, they're mostly a lot of them are about like humans, like and how they've augmented themselves or how they've changed the world or like the things that are different, and it kind of makes you look back on yourself as like am I part of the reason that humans could possibly go down this way, like humans go down this path. So yeah, like honestly, sci-fi is this really unique genre where it's a lot of the focus is on the human side of it.
Yeah,
and they have all this crazy stuff going on, and like it's really focused on the human elements. That's cool.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. Me and Forrest appreciate you, and thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing. Please, if you saw this movie or are going to see this movie, tell us what you thought. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. See ya. Peace.